Hey, howdy, homies. It's time for another Gauntlet Stage B match in Acropolis number 3's qualification stage. We are looking at two Zerg players today, one of which used to be Protoss and is immediately 6-pooling. Love to see that. SmrtyCakes is going to be in the top left as... Oh, what is this color? It's like golden brown, maybe? Light olive. Well, I never would have guessed that one. And down on the bottom right, we have IAMtheWHEATofGOD. And I'm going to say teal. There you go, teal Zerg. So, I am the wheat of God always makes it sound like I am saying that as a statement. I am declaring myself the wheat of God, but I am not doing that, so we're just going to call him God Wheat. Or maybe God or Wheat. I think maybe we'll just say Wheat. Calling him God, maybe later. Maybe if he wins Acropolis. SmrtyCakes is switched from Protoss to Zerg. I am personally not pleased by this fact. I feel like I've never really seen a Zerg, so I actually don't really know how good it is comparatively. But I think if you compare it to the way that he has played Protoss, obviously he was one game away from defeating Kasuga in their rematch in Gauntlet Stage A, in which case he would have made it to the lower bracket versus Shopkeeper Dog, and who knows how that series would have gone. Kasuga did defeat Shopkeeper Dog in that series, so that's kind of what I'm getting at, is maybe, if Smarty had played a little bit tighter on the Protoss versus Protoss matchup in that particular set, he actually could have stood a good chance versus Dog PvT. I don't know. I'm not sure how the two of them play. So it feels like he almost was already there, right? He was pretty close to as close as you could get, essentially. And right now, he is going to be Zerg against Godwheat, who seems to be fairly well-rounded as a player baseline. Might have his own attention deficits here and there, but definitely somebody who you don't want to necessarily mess with. Like, he's no pushover. He did defeat Jujic 2-0, and it was when Jujic rolled Zerg both games as random. So, very interesting stuff there, in my opinion. Now, I can't really wax philosophical too much about this because the quads are already moving out, and of course there is a hatch behind this, which was scouted by Godwheat. And you see there, as the quads come out, this was already offensively putting down as a Kagrant. He's going to go ahead and burrow. And that is kind of confusing Wheat here. Oh, he doesn't even finish the job. Maybe that will factor back in. But this is turning into a Larvosk, and he's going to go ahead and drop his own... I assume he's going to go ahead and drop his own... He used his own worker to kill it. His own Circuit at some point and try to hold. And Smarty trying to force the issue. Might be able to do it. He spent a lot of his DPS earlier, by the way, attacking that Larvosk. So we actually don't have that much on the defense. He should lose this Larvosk, and will indeed. Opportunity there. Oh, he's going to lose that Kagrant, I think. Yeah, it just ends up going down. No Droleth back there. No cancel. Now he's going to go ahead and get one, technically. And we'll pick one of the two quads that hatch there. He does have the advantage now, the defender's advantage, which is not something you say every day about ZVZ, but in Cosmonarchy it happens more often than you'd think. Still, these trades not necessarily favoring Godwheat. He's down to one quaz again. Of course, he's got a lot more coming now. They are very cheap. Oh, Smarty's actually forgotten a couple of them. Droleth's come out to try to buzz him off. Still more workers on the side of God Wheat than... Yeah, that's what a fucking username. Still more workers on the side of Wheat than what you would think. Compared to Smarty, who's only got 6, still mining over there. He used the hatch more for control and faster rallies, I think. Just additional production. Sending more and more quaz down. Now, there's no Circuit yet, but it does feel like, the further we get into here, the more likely it is that Wheat ends up stabilizing. He has equivalent production. So as long as he doesn't take any bungled fights, he should be good. And there it is. Using the Droleth as a little bit of tanking to offset the presence of all of those quaz. And yeah, I don't know. Smarty's all in. Doesn't seem like it's gone very well. Remember, by the way, he did say GLHF buddy with like a random number in the middle of there because he was typing so fast as he put down his 6-pool. So, there's a little bit of like when you 4-pool somebody in StarCraft 1 ladder, and then as your Zeths or your Zerglings are coming in, you're like, hey, how are you? Yeah, that kind of fucking attitude feels like what's going on here. I feel like he didn't finish the Kagrant when he should have, if he wanted his follow-up quads to be able to do something, and now it's turned into a Circuit, so no hope for those follow-up quads to really do much of anything. He's going to have to start making workers, even canceling out an egg so that he can make another Droleth, I think. Pretty wise at this point. You at least have some army tempo, some map control, but you're definitely going to need to start getting a better eco since your opponent has had 3 more workers than you for minutes now. Currently just saturating his mineral field in the main. I feel like you could just start mining here. I don't know why he's doing that. That's adding delay. Pause on the right-hand side and a couple on the left. So this should be a nice little split here for Smarty. He's actually going to thin the herd. Essentially for free. Wheat giving him a bit of a easy opportunity. You think that if he loses, he becomes Devil Wheat, but if he wins, it is God Wheat? I don't know. There's like an opportunity where that could be the case. This guy's apparently been around the StarCraft scene for a very long time. So it's very cool to see him get into Cosmonarchy. One of our most active Discord members for sure these days. So very cool to see him participate in the tournament. And I've heard good things from him. I've heard that apparently his micro's pretty solid. And he's already got the Zorkish Shroud and he's getting it faster than Smarty. So maybe that tells you a little bit of something about this matchup and what they're all going to be doing. It's always a treat for me as the lead designer of the game, the one who's the most active dev right now, not to throw shade at any other dev. They're all doing their part. But just the guy who's the most involved right now in the day-to-day, and certainly the most involved on the Discord server from the day-to-day. It's always a treat for me to see that there's a new player, and like I haven't really gotten a lot of an opportunity to watch them play too much and really check things out. It feels good as the dev to be like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of people I haven't seen yet really play. Like I still don't really know how SGCCZ plays. One of our Peruvian players. Same for like I have seen a little bit of Sausage, but not that much. I'm trying to think of other ones. Batella, totally new to me. I don't know, there's a couple of them. So shout out all the new guys who join and participate. Very cool stuff, and hope to see you all in the tournaments that we are going to have. One thing that does that is a little bit unfortunate is I'm not sure as of right now. Oh, that's misplaced. I'm not sure as of right now whether we will get some of the players that participated in the March Invitational in. I don't think Neutron will join us. I don't think... I guess Dynamon has joined us, so I think there is that still. P-Sense joined us for this Gauntlet. I'm not sure he's going to join us for Gauntlet C. And I'm trying to think of anybody else. Oh, Fenris. Fenris won his group, and so I was hoping to get all the winners in to at least participate. You know, whether they qualify or not, that's another story, but it would be really cool if that happened. And of course, the biggest, I think, gap right now is Swarmlord. The fact that he's not participating does sting a little bit. But that's all right. We got loads of other players, and right now, oh, the Gorgs are flying by themselves. Where's Smarty's burrow? He better burrow quick. Oh, is he not going to burrow? I mean, that would be really bad. The Quas help out here because the Gorgs reduce the armor of the targets when they're attacking air, so that helps out. I can't believe he's not burrowing. He's losing every single drill left because he refuses to hit the burrow key. Oh, you can tell he's not a Zerg main now. Borrow the workers, Smarty. You were starting to get ahead worker count-wise, and now you're back down to the base. You're back down in the gutter. Oh my god. He started to make Lakers as well. So this is kind of the risk. If you go Zorkiz against a player who's also going Zorkiz, you have no good anti-air. And, well, we're seeing why. We're seeing what's happening. At least he's getting some free brute spawn when the Zoryuslav gets incidentally damaged. Ay, ay, ay. He's actually going to go down to single-digit workers. I can't believe it. Most of them not mining. He's got to move across the map and finish the job. And he's technically could do it, but there's 4 Lakers about to pop out. He has no detection. Listen, if Godweed only had all of these quads, I could see a world where you come in with the Zoryus, you speed up the Lakers and the Gorgs, and you just get right on top of them. But that's enough quads to kill the Gorgs, given enough opportunity. They cycle back in. The Lakers from Godweed burrowing as well and helping out. Yeah, Smarty already knows. GG. He saw those Lakers burrow. It's over, and Godweed takes the first game. All right. So maybe he is actually the Wheat of God. He's gone up 1-0 versus Smarty. Man, if he only burrowed, he would have really short-circuited a lot of the value there. Obviously, the splash can still kind of reach sometimes, but not nearly to the degree that you think comparatively. If they just sit there trying to attack the hatch or something, your Quas and your Gorgs will kill them, right? He had to keep moving those Gorgs around. Wheat did. So the fact that the workers did not escape, that is a big whiff. So that's it. We're going to game number 2, map number 2. Let's see what's behind that, and I'll also talk a little bit about the map veto, as customary on the second map. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, on the second map, Crisis Vector. So once again, both Jujic maps being selected. We've got Godweed down here in the bottom right as our orange Zerg, and SmrtyCakes on the top left as... Oh man, this, I'm tempted to say Dark Olive because he was Light Olive, but now I actually think, what if he's like Burnt Umber or Dark Bronze? Dark Bronze! Holy shit, I got the color. I never get the bronze colors, dude. I can never guess those properly. Anyway, Smarty is not instantly pooling, but he is doing a 7 pool. This is actually kind of an anti-6 pool build. I think it kind of occupies how overpool works to kind of... It's not the most greedy thing that you can do in StarCraft 1. Obviously, that would be like Hatch First is like the most economic build. but overpool works as like a generic counter to a lot of things. It's kind of like that here. 7 pool is similar. So essentially, Smarty is doing that just in case he's on the receiving end of the rush. And he's getting his gas now. The 6 pool Zethracore rush will hit around the time that this pool finishes. So he may hold his Larvosk mutation until that timing happens. This is a build that I first saw the Night Fox do. So pretty interesting stuff there. But I think he's just going to go straight into Larvosk and cancel it if the worst comes to worst. Kind of a bit of a gamble there because if you cancel, you lose some of the money. But better for timing if it's not that, right? And still gives you a little bit of value, a little bit of opportunity for flexibility, right? So he is also doing this without scouting, which I think the Night Fox did do when I saw this build last. Anyway, not really that important. Let's talk about the veto because we only have a worker scout coming across. It's going to be Near Impact and Crisis Victor, of course, our first 2 maps. If we need it, if SmrtyCakes can stabilize in the series, we'll go to Serenity as our decider. The bans were Check Stealer and Kingo Valley by Smarty and Decapitation and Blackwater by Godwheat. And that is just the worker dying. Don't worry about that. Most notably, one of the things that I thought was kind of interesting about the situation for Smarty is that he apparently let his final pick time out. So that's interesting. He just let it random, essentially. I don't know if that was intentional or what happened there. But, that's just how it be. Smarty was ill, had a fever or something in the middle of this tournament. I don't know if this affected this game. He might comment as a result, whether or not to clarify that. But I believe he had a fever. I know it was for his lower bracket games. Spoiler, at some point he does drop to the lower bracket. There's more matches to be played between then and now, so that doesn't actually tell you what the outcome of this match is. But I will point out, for my money, although the Smarty is getting the Zerg much faster now, so that feels like he's made a really nice read as an adaptation. But looking at it right now, the Zorka Shroud timing for Godwheat, the fact that he's going for double Larvosk, and he was able to maybe not comfortably hold the aggression from game 1, but certainly feels like he wasn't just immediately run over by it. He is impressing as a relatively new player. Let's see if he can build on this performance and do something special in his first ever Gauntlet appearance, his first ever Acropolis appearance. I'm kind of surprised he didn't play Smarty Fiesta. Smarty Fiesta is a great tournament, a great event. I very much enjoyed being a part of it as a player. It was a unique experience for me. I never get to actually play in those things. I could play in the Gauntlets, but I would probably qualify. And if I did, I mean, how the hell would I bring you guys the broadcast of my Battlements games? That doesn't make any sense. So, bit of an unfortunate sort of byproduct of being the only principal broadcaster and guy with all the overlays and all the OBS knowledge and all that. I'm sure some people do know how to use it and whatnot, but I'm obviously a one-man show in that respect. Obviously, there's people who help me out with the casting and stuff, but would they be able to do the broadcast part? I don't know the answer to that question. So, maybe one day, maybe there will be like an Acropolis-esque tournament, maybe just a March Invitational-esque tournament or something, right? And I'll participate in something like that. But Smarty Fiesta is the closest that I've gotten to in doing that sort of thing. I got to pick funny maps and funny game modes. I picked Massacre on Infinite Velocity and absolutely bopped Top Ramen. It was beautiful. It was absolutely spastic and whack. And those are the kinds of games that sometimes you got to appreciate. They were living up to the Fiesta name. So Godwheat's moving out with some Lakes, and he's making his own Ovaleth for detection in case his opponent has Lakes. But SmrtyCakes does not have detection. No Khaz'trith, no Ovaleth. Not that much Vespian in the tank either, so it's going to be a while before he can afford it. However, I don't know how much damage the Lakes are going to be able to do, so we'll have to see. They could do critical damage, or maybe they're held at an arm's length. There's a lot of quads down here for Smarty to kind of buy time. Not as much as what Godwheat has, that's for sure. But there are some Gorgs lying around, and a lot more quads just hatched. So here comes the attack. Wheat coming in with the Zoryus first. That's going to speed up the Lakes and allow them to burrow. Not within range of the workers, mind you. This is only within range to clear the ground units. But here come all of the Gorgacores, and they should be in enough number to deal with all of those quads. And they will splash those burrowed units as well. Godwheat has to be careful about that, but look at the damage being dealt to the reinforcement quads from Smarty. This might be a little bit too much. More Gorgs hatching. Still an opportunity here. Remember, that Ovaleth is only now arriving. Smarty could maybe burrow his workers a little bit further away from the mineral line, but it looks like he's only lost a single one so far. Now that might change as the units are in the middle of the mineral line. A couple Zethracore over here. It doesn't look like they got a single worker kill, though. Oh, the hatch! The hatch is going to die. That's one thing I didn't even account for. I just assumed it had too much HP, but it will end up going down. Not able to save that, and only now is the Ovoleth on the way. The Gorgs should at the very least kill that Ovoleth, but maybe not. They might even escape. He starts to remake the hatch. Well, Wheat only has his hatch done now, so it's not like he's been mining his expand this whole time. Smarty has more resources in the bank, but he does have to remake that hatch. And by in the bank, I sort of mean he's harvested more resources than his opponent so far. Part of that is due to the worker count difference. Part of that is due to the fact that, well, Godwheat just hasn't been harvesting from his main base and still isn't right now. Not even making Droleths. Just going for extra static defense in case he needs to defend versus the Gorg flyby. These are going to be sprays. I think, honestly, the first spray you can ignore. This is a classic mistake where if the Gorgs come in and attack this, they'll still deal damage to burrowed workers around it. So the workers actually have to evacuate from this position and burrow away from structures that can be used as a proxy for the attack. Because, as you can see, there's going to be some splash damage dealt, and already we're seeing a lot of Godwheat losses. The Gorg flyby. Oh, he doesn't finish off the Sprite. That feels like a mistake. If he kills both Sprites with 6 Gorgs, I think it might be possible. Maybe not. Maybe narrowly not, especially with the quads coming in. If he kills one Sprite and then, you know, flies away, he'll reduce the damage that he takes, and it was only at 50 health, so it would have been like 6 more swipes, I think, and then it would have been gone. So, feels like, you know, a little bit of an unforced error. I guess there was only 5 Gorgs, right? He only lost 1, so. All right. That's a lot of damage, economically speaking. There are some Lakes, and no Ovoleth here for the side of Godwheat, so he is going to end up getting bopped by his opponent's AoE. Oh, they're burrowing over in this direction, and they catch on to that Quaz. Oh my god! It ends up being enough. There was the Ovoleth as well for detection. Wait! I think he's got more military than Smarty can deal with. He was in a bit of a transition. He's got a lot of money in the bank, but he was waiting for the Hydrathin to pop. The Gorg's only now coming up, but they're not in enough number to deal with all these Quaz. Wow, okay, so this is how Smarty dies with Thunderous Quaz. Well, I guess you'd say Thunderous Aquaz if you were trying to do it syllable by syllable. GG. So, God has sent some wheat, and apparently it's so damn good that it has won 2 matches in the upper bracket of Acropolis number 3, Gauntlet Stage B. Now, the best of 3s are over for Godwheat. He will have to participate in the upper qualification. I'm not sure who is going to face him. I think the current favorite for that is Cannoli. But ZVZ is apparently where he's plied his trade. Defeated Jujic 2-0 in ZVZ. Now Smarty 2-0 ZVZ. Cannoli would be his toughest Zerg opponent yet. But we'll see who else comes across that side of the bracket. It might not be that. Stay tuned for more coverage. Donate on Coffee if you want to support project development and tournament development as well, for that matter. And we will see you soon for more Cause Monarchy. GG.